Well, just talk about your matriculation to Purdue. Um, uh, what you want to try to get accomplished here as well. I know you have some history with the Brahms.
It's funny. I don't really have any history with the Brahms except we've crossed paths like after each other. You know what I mean? So, for example, at Western Kentucky, I got there. I was there with Coach Tagger, and then I never actually met any of the Brahms until probably 2016. No, 2018. And I came here for camp and helped out and didn't interacted with them a little bit, but for the most part, it was other guys on staff. But I worked with, or I played for Coach Elson, and then I coached Ryan Wallace, and then I worked with Nate Dennison all at Western Kentucky. And so then getting here, I'd been in touch with those guys. I didn't really anticipate it all happening. You know what I mean? I had just gotten promoted at Louisville and all that stuff, so it was kind of a whirlwind deal, and I thought it was a great opportunity to come up and be closer to my family, which is in Chicago, and then be in the Big Ten and all that stuff. So I thought all that was really good. And then here, the expectation, for me and what I want to see is just guys giving great effort. I think throughout, this is my 18th year coaching, and I think 10th or 11th year doing special teams. You could really tell how the team is built by what they do on special teams, the effort the guys give, or the selflessness they give. And I've been really fortunate in all my years to have been on teams that care about special teams, and head coaches that care about special teams. And I think it's even amplified here, where starters could play on special teams, and you're gonna get creative and do things that are outside the box a little bit, and you push the envelope a little bit. And so that's what we're looking for with our team. There's guys who are selfless, guys who give great effort, and who are going to do what we ask them to do.
Do you have a baseline philosophy of how you envision special teams looking?
Not necessarily as far as just like I said. I want to just see guys flying around and give effort. I try to keep it as simple as we can, but at the same time keep teams off balance, with what we do, with different looks that we can give them, but our guys being able to do the same things, and I think the important thing to understand with college athletes and college football players is they got to go to class. They're going to be studying offense, defense a lot more than they are special teams. You can't overload them with too many thoughts and ideas. Otherwise, they start swimming, and it's hard. So we try to keep everything as simple as we can, simple rules where they can play really, really fast and and just execute.
I just visited with Jack, and he says you guys have kind of started up a really good relationship.
Yep.
I mean, what things? How can you help Jack move past what happened last year and put him in a better position this year?
Jack's hard on himself. He's a perfectionist. He doesn't like to lose. He's overly competitive. And that's what I learned early on, is that he'll beat himself up to that point. And so what I've done throughout my career with specialists is it's hard, man. Like, it's hard to understand as a football player what a specialist goes through, and those guys, you go out there for one kick, and if it's a good kick, people pat you on the back and you feel good about yourself. If it's a bad kick, you got to wait 20, 30 more snaps sometimes before you get your next shot. And so much of it is being calm, being centered, and just that the next kick or the next snap approach. And it's easier said than done, but we have to find like devices that help us calm down, and we try to do that, not to be too like philosophical or anything like that, but like it is what it is. We gotta be calm, and we gotta live this next kick is the most important one.
What's Charlie Jones going to bring the return game? Is he going to help on punts and kickoffs?
Yeah, he will. Because he did that at Iowa. He did both there, and he'll do both here. We're actually really fortunate because we have him. We have Tyrone Tracy, who came over with them. We also have Reese Taylor, who was a third-team All-Big Ten player. You've got Deion Burks, who's explosive. You've got T.J. Sheffield, who's explosive. You have so many guys here, and it's just a matter of getting everybody pieces around them to be really good, and it doesn't matter who we have back in theory, but Charlie brings another element that he's you see him on film, he's fearless when he's back there catching punts, and he takes chances, and they've paid off for him so far. So we just got to make sure that he gets a clean look when he gets out there.
Who might be some of the non-starting guys that have caught your eye? On your coverage units and things like that.
Yeah, coverage unit wise, Clyde Washington's been a really good one. Samisi, and I can't say Samisi's last name. There's a lot of vowels in there, and He's a Tongan guy. He plays like an animal. On the outside, Deion Burks is starting to show up, which is awesome that a receiver is giving some good effort. There's some DBs that are starting to show up. Brandon Callaway. I'm just trying to go through this. There is some really good, like, again, the effort. And like, here's one thing that I'll say that's unique since I've gotten here is that when we go into special teams meetings, I'll send out a text to the group and I'll say, all right, it's a punt and kickoff meeting today. Every single kid on defense will show up. All the wide receivers will show up. I shouldn't say every single kid. Every single skilled kid. The D-line goes to their deal for the most part. But every single wide receiver shows up. A few quarterbacks show up. I mean, it's awesome. The buy-in there is there, and they're not a distraction. They're not in the back talking. They're paying attention. They're writing notes down because they know that very well. It could be their turn coming up next.
Roughly how many players is that?
We end up getting close to 60 or so in the room. Like, I mean, it's in there. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm entertaining. We're just up there talking football. So it's good to see all those kids that are bought in. And the other part of it is the assistant coaches. Like they foster that. Like Coach English, he's the defense coordinator, sits in every special teams meeting. You know what I mean? I think kids see that and they want to be part of that too. And it's pretty awesome. It's fortunate for me.
What have you seen from Mitchell Finneran so far in camp?
He's unrattled. He's unfazed by anything that comes at him. He misses a 55-yarder in the scrimmage and comes back and hits a 46-yarder on the next one, like no big deal. You know what I mean? And so he's humble. He's like the most humble kid I've met in a long time, and he's really a good person to be around.
Who's going to kick off?
It's ongoing competition. You got Chris Van Eckeren kicked off for us last year. He's kicking the ball well. Ben Freehill's kicking the ball really well. Mitch jumps in there every once in a while, and he actually gets it into the end zone as well. You don't think of him as a big leg. Caleb Crockover we kicked off all day today for us with the scout team, but he's actually got great control of the ball, so he can do some things too. It's a tough situation. You got some good kids.
Why is special teams so appealing to you, and why has that been the case?
I don't know. I think I'm wired a little different where I don't care about myself as much as I care about the people around me. And I try to beat that. I got 3 kids, and I try to beat that into them. Like, it's not about you. Go clean. I didn't make the mess. Well, go clean up the mess, even though you didn't make that type of thing. But I've always been a team first, and that started really early for me. And like when I was playing Pee Wee football and stuff like that, that's how I was taught. You know, that if everybody does their one job, then we'll be really good. And it's the biggest example of that is on special teams where those guys that buy in and you get them around. If you get everyone to buy in on special teams, then the team's really going to go all around.
And you're also helping out with linebackers?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I am.
You talked about Charlie Jones a little bit already. Just what goes into maximizing the potential of a return man, allowing them to be a weapon, I guess, in the return game?
A lot of it's getting creative in how we get lined up a lot of times and making sure that we're blocking the right guys and we have help blocking guys that are more like the more dangerous guys that are getting down the field faster, and finding guys who can hold up at the line of scrimmage really well in punt return. And in kickoff return, just guys who can identify and move in space and block in space. And give great effort, even if they miss a block, turn and find somebody else to block, because he is able to make people miss. And so the key for all of it is, all right, getting lined up, executing as best we can, and when you fail, continue to give great effort after the play.